What's up, everybody? Kong Spideyzilla back at it with another video, and today, here is the unboxing video. Here's the sequel to unboxing video with this little guy. And let's just say, his dad finally arrived. Alright. You can probably tell what it is, just by the title and the thumbnail. So, but this one's pretty special because this one came from Japan. So, I'm not going to show the shipping information because it's private. But this did arrive from Japan, so I had to order off of eBay instead of Amazon because Amazon did have this guy, but Amazon did not have this guy. They only had other Heisei Godzillas or other Godzilla figures, but except this guy. So I had to get this guy off of eBay. I had to wait a little longer, but funny thing is that I recently checked, I think yesterday, as to, I wanted to remind myself when this figure was possibly going to arrive, and they said anywhere from, like, actually June 2nd. Originally, they said anywhere from, like, early, like, May 20s, or June, like, the early days of June, and I looked it up, and apparently they said it was going to be arriving on June, but then I took a nap, I was sleeping, and then I found this by my bedside. So, my family checked the mail, must have checked the mail, my mom must have checked the mail, and she left this here for me. So, we looked at the information, it was like, oh my goodness, this guy came early. Alright, so, let me try to unbox here. So let me get right into it, because I think the previous video kind of dragged on a little too long, but this little guy was pretty special, but so was this guy too, so. But I want to try not to drag on my videos a little too long, because I realize I've been kind of doing that lately. Like, I want to make a little bit more short videos, so, alright, getting to the unboxing. They put rubber band on this package. Right, got it. There we go. There's a rubber band. Alright. I might have to cut a little bit here. Alright, use the scissors over here to pry open this bag. Alright. Because I want to show you guys more of the unboxing process, because with the little Godzilla one, I didn't get that much of a chance. My mom kind of opened it for me when it arrived. So, and by the way, if I sound a little more quiet, because I want to sound a little more quiet, because, you know, there's people here, and and also, I just woke up too, so, alright, I'm gonna cut. Alright, you guys ready? Alright, come on. Yes. Had to show me pulling it out of the bag. Alright, put that down there. Here he is. So here he is in the package. I don't want to show that little paper as much in the background because it might give off a little bit of information. But here he is in the bag. That card actually looks like in better condition than the little Godzilla tag I got, so that makes me pretty proud and happy. You know, I was a little bummed out that the little Godzilla tag was a little bit, you know, wounded at some parts, so, but it's in alright condition. But this tag looks like in better shape, so, and it's cool to see him in the bag. So, right, I'm gonna get him open more. Alright. He's almost free. Let me just get him out. Alright, there you go. And I believe this is the shipping information right here. Put that to the side. I'm just looking at it. Hold on. Yeah, a bit of shipping information. Alright. Bit of a eBay code thing. Alright. Here we go. He is... Here he is. He is here. The Bandai Movie Monster Series, Godzilla 1994. Alright. So there he is, and hopefully you guys can see his face pretty good. Come on, focus. But you guys see that? You can actually look at him from the front view, and he actually looks really good. I noticed with a lot of Godzilla figures in my collection, it's kind of hard to do that. And oh my goodness, this figure looks stunning. Like this figure looks really good. The sun is kind of shining bright right now. Let me try to get him at an angle. So yeah, there he is. Now, if you remember my previous video, I use these figures for videos, so I don't keep the tags on them, but I collect the tags themselves, so I know what figure they belong with. Yes. So, there's the tag. I'm going to take it off him in a second, but just look how nice this figure is. Just like, my goodness, like, look. This just might be one of my favorite Godzillas in my collection. Like, look at the spikes. They're really good. And this is one of the figures where I think they actually paint the tail all the way through. It's missing a little bit there, but I don't think, I don't know. I can't remember if there actually was any there in the tips or not. So, yeah, just like, I bought this figure because, like, it's just, like, the 1991 I really wanted to badly get at one point, but I ended up passing up on it because, like I got distracted by other things and other figures I guess I wanted to collect at the time, and it just kind of slipped. It just, the thought just kind of slipped away from me. It's just like it's okay, I can do without it. Plus, I got an awesome figure like the NECA 1989 figure. Although, in terms of accuracy, the 1991 Bandai Movie Monster Series probably looks better, but the NECA is still really good. I was distracted by other things as well. But, like, when I saw this guy, I was just like, I need him, man, because, like, Heisei Godzilla is just, he's my favorite version of the character, and he's just, like, my favorite design. So, like, and also, to me, in my opinion, as a character, like, the late, although, don't get me wrong, I really like Godzilla. I like every single version of Godzilla. It's like the late Heisei era. It's just something where Godzilla just like one of the moments where Godzilla reached his peak as a character. So just for me, in my opinion, like this is like really good. All right, so I'm gonna get the tag off of him. All right, got the tag off. Here's the cool information and the cool back. Just in that picture, just really nice. Like, look at that. There it is. There's the inside. So, and another Bandai Movie Monster Series tag. Another cool Godzilla tag to add to my collection. Alright. Here he is. Yeah. It's like, and honestly, in my opinion, it's almost like as if Heisei is the Godzilla design. Just like, don't get me wrong, I really like a lot of Godzilla designs, but just like when I think of Godzilla, this is the type of Godzilla design that comes to mind. Yep. Like, I know a lot of people are saying -1. That's probably a recency bias, and probably because how much of a masterpiece -1 may be. But to me, like this in terms like so this would always be the Godzilla look to me. Like, I have a lot of favorite designs: Godzilla 2000, the Showa Godzilla, Final Wars Godzilla, the MonsterVerse, Shin Godzilla, like GMK Godzilla, -1 Godzilla, etc. Like a good chunk of Godzilla designs, but like this is the one like that just like is the most. I think this guy barely wins in terms of a design for Godzilla. Kuryasaga Go G2. All right, my favorite version of the character as well, but making it barely. But I like old versions of Godzilla, and to me, it's all Godzilla. So doesn't really matter a whole lot, but it's still awesome to have a figure of this guy. And I'm definitely will be using this guy for fan films. And the nice length on that tail. He's in a cool pose. Alright, now what you're waiting for is the comparison. But first, the articulation, his feet and his legs move. But one of the main things here, you want to see the comparison. So, first off, the figure he was released side by side with his own son, Hideo Kojima. And obviously, the scaling isn't correct. This figure stands like 5 inches tall, and like this guy's a little over 6 inches tall. So I think the scaling would be more like, if I remember correctly, I think Little Godzilla was like up to his hip, if I'm not mistaken. Like probably like that. Probably like that. But they still look good together. Now, with the same movie, his rival, Space Gogeta. Space Godzilla. So that was Little Godzilla. And oh my goodness, he actually kind of dwarfs him a little bit. Well, doesn't dwarf him, he's actually a bit taller. If you're not including the crown thing on his head. Like, yeah, he actually kind of is a bit taller than Space Godzilla. Now, I'm not gonna lie, in some shots, it actually does kind of look like that in the movie, like, because Space Godzilla kind of has a hunched look at some points, and then Godzilla can have a more upright stance, and there's some points in the movie where it looks like they're the same size. But, however, according to the plot and description, Space Godzilla is supposed to be like 20 meters taller than Godzilla. So it's supposed to be more like, in terms of size, it's like more like that. Like between his chest and neck area, like up to the shoulder area, it should be like that. So this is a total inaccurate scale according to the official size. But in terms of shots in the movie, this kind of looks like it, in my opinion. Although it'll be more like this, because this Space Godzilla is kind of standing up straight. In the movie, he kind of had a little hunched postures every now, a good chunk of the time, because like his big body mass, I guess. So meanwhile, Goji had the posture to stand up straight a little bit more of the time. So, but these two look good together. But we do need like a more like updated Space Godzilla to fit with these two and Mulgira. Here it is. I sadly don't have Mulgira. I need Mulgira. Otherwise, if I had Mulgira, would have had the whole cast of Godzilla versus Space Godzilla complete. So, but Mulgira, I'll get Mulgira at some point, guys. Don't worry. That's like my next. He's actually my next figure to get, but I want to wait a little while. So, and not from the same movie, but technically it's kind of the same suit, pretty much, sort of. The Heisei Bandai Movie Monster Series Mechagodzilla. And as you can see, this is inaccurate scaling. Like, I don't know why they made this Mechagodzilla kind of short. Like, it's a great figure. It's a great figure, but my only problem with it is that they kind of made him a bit too short. Like, look at this. Like, he kind of dwarfs him. Yep. But that's not how it's supposed to be. Because in the movie, Mechagodzilla was 20 meters taller, and that was shown in the movie. So it was more like that. Like, that was the size comparison. Like, he was between his neck and chest area. Like, the size comparison is more like that. Yeah. Or maybe even up to the neck area. But yeah, they may look cool together, but he should have been a much taller figure. Like, they should have made him like at least like that tall. But yeah, I don't know if the old Bandai Creation figure's taller or not. And here's just a comparison with the older figure. Now, according to the tags, they just called him Godzilla. Like the most average Godzilla you can get. And I just noticed, yeah, this guy is a bit taller. Like, not by a lot, though. He's, like, only, like, slightly from the looks of it. Like, let me try to, if I can get a good angle. He is slightly taller. So, yeah, here's my old Heisei Godzilla figure, and here is the new Godzilla Heisei figure. It's very cool and awesome to see Bandai over the years in the form of these two figures. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like this guy. Now, I'm just gonna assume, like, they show, like, this Godzilla design on the tag, but I think he was just trying to stand in for, like, maybe he was, like, a special hybrid figure. Like, he stood in for all the Heisei Godzillas. I think, shout out to Shin Robojita. I think he even mentioned it in his videos. Shout out to him, by the way. He's a very funny guy. Shin Robojita. Or Shin Robojita. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. But you can find him pretty easily. Just look up some Godzilla figures reviews and you'll stumble across this figure. He's the guy with, like, a Shin Godzilla-ish type of name. So, yep. Don't get me wrong, this figure's really cool. Really like this guy. Still have a soft spot for him. But in my opinion, I actually think this guy's better. Like, a better, like, figure, in my own personal opinion. But this dude's the OG. So, still will always have a soft spot for him. It's still one of my favorite figures. This guy just became recently one of my new favorite figures. And because I'm a crossover guy, here I'm going to do some comparisons. Alright. Of course, well, before we do that, one last comparison, that is the Final Wars Godzilla. Now, this scaling is, it may look good at first, but it's kind of slightly off because you can see that he's a little bit taller. So, like, be more like, almost correct, be more like that. He's slightly taller, so, like, it'll be more like that, but a very accurate looking scaling. Alright. I know I said that was going to be the last comparison, but I just had to make a couple more comparisons. So here's the Bandai Movie Monster Series Mothra Larvae. I'm using this one because it looks like, from the tag, they made it look like the Heisei Mothra larvae. So here it is. I don't know if they're accurate scale, but they look good together. Here's Burning Godzilla, which I know they released a new Burning Godzilla, so and that guy would probably be looking a whole lot like better, but this guy's still pretty cool. Here's Rainbow Mothra. Since Rainbow Mothra is kind of from a Heisei-ish trilogy, the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, so like a Kaiju Heisei-ish trilogy. Now, I didn't bring up the regular Mothra because they already released a new Mothra that looks like it's entirely based on the Heisei Mothra. So, and the other Mothra I have kind of looks more like from the Millennium era. So, I thought this comparison was more fitting. And sorry, I couldn't get Destroya because some of those figures I have on my shelf, especially on the lower bottom area, some of them are covered in dust and cobwebs. So, like, my goodness, I need to clean them up when I get the chance. And poor Destroyer wasn't ready, so. But here we go. Now I get to the crossover comparisons. So here we go. Because I'm a crossover guy, I like to show them these other comparisons. Now they're not going to be a lot, but all right. Here is King Kong. Dang it, my itchy eye, man. All right. Here is King Kong. So this comparison, make sure his feet are correct. Okay. His feet are flat on the ground. Okay. Get them to look correct. Now this one looks good. They kind of look very close to the same size. But Godzilla should be like slightly taller, like they look good together, but Godzilla should be slightly taller. Should be a bit taller, I feel. Like, I did comparisons, and for me, like, the size should be more like, if you're going with the 1962 original, this is more like the size comparison you're looking for. Like this. So if you're going with more like the 1962 size, it'll be more like that. So that's what it would be like. I'm trying to get it to look good. Be more like that. But if you are going with more like a 2021 size comparison, it would be more like that. Yep. So there's King Kong, one of my Peter Jackson King Kong figures. I think that's the King Kong figure that scales with him the best. Because in my opinion, I mean, the other ones are a bit taller and it just looks a bit more awkward, so I figured that was the best one to use. Now, this may be very crazy, but Godzilla versus Bowser. And guys and gals, I might actually be making my bringing my Godzilla versus Bowser fanfiction story to life someday in the future. So, there you go. And definitely you can guarantee this is the figure I'm going to use. So I kind of miss using Bandai vinyls as like the basis for Godzilla figures again. So here he is next to Bowser, like our Kaiju Bowser here. Whoop. So here he is next to our Kaiju Bowser. Yep. I would say that the scale is, for like the scale I kind of want, actually, it's kind of, it's actually pretty good here. Now, maybe Godzilla should be, I'll have Godzilla be slightly taller, like that. But this mostly looks pretty good. Maybe it was more like that, but this actually looks pretty good. So yeah, they look cool together. So these are the two figures I'll be using for the crossover. Jakks Pacific Bowser. Now, here's another cool comparison. Uh, if you're wondering why the heck am I having a random great white shark comparison, it's because I sadly I can't I don't have a Jaws figure. So this great white shark has to be the stand-in for Jaws. So yeah, it's more like a Kaiju Jaws and a Godzilla comparison, because since then I'm actually planning to do another fanfiction crossover between Godzilla and Jaws. So a Godzilla and Jaws, a Godzilla versus Jaws fanfiction crossover. So yeah, looks pretty good. Like, looks like a cool comparison. Like, they can they can fight each other. In terms of overall length, like yeah. Yeah, they look good. Maybe if I was using like an official Jaws figure, like I would like one. So, but this dude has to stand in for it now. Safari LTD, like bigger figure. The other Safari LTDs I have in like Papo figure, I, you know, they'll look a little too small next to this Godzilla. So, yup. Anyways, well, I think that's it. Um, have him next to his son. Now, this figure is really cool. I know I kind of failed to keep my words. I didn't want this video to drag out, but it did. But it just goes shows how much I like this figure, and I wanted to keep talking about it. So, you're going to be seeing this guy in videos. So, yeah. Now, they can be together. So, that's going to be it for today's unboxing video, and a little bit of a review, funny enough. So check out the next video, well, the previous video I did with this guy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. And if you like the content I do on my channel, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Be sure to subscribe. And if you like the video, well, go ahead and like it. Don't be shy. And as Kong Spidey still says, love you all, thank you all, and peace out.